Welcome back to Chronicle. This morning we're discussing cold cases. Well, a group called Families of the Stolen is doing what it can to help solve those cases. And this morning we're joined by Buffy Bush Porter and Christina Young. Buffy is the founder of the group. Her sister, Jamila Hesseltine, was murdered in 2011 along with Carl Reed. Christina's daughter, Jaquila, was killed in 2015 at a house party. 2 other people also died. Their killers are still out there. Thank you both for joining us this morning. I appreciate you coming in.
Thank you for having us.
Buffy, first off, tell me about Jamila and what happened to her.
In September of 2011, my sister was murdered in her home with Carl Reed, and she was left to be found by her 2 children, who were 5 and 6 at the time.
And do you have any idea who did it?
Well, of course, the community talks, but as far as any type of solid evidence, no,
Right.
we do not.
What was it like for you that day, getting that call?
It was like everything stood still.
Christina, tell me about Jaquila. What happened with your daughter?
She was attending a party that was on 34th and Parker in 2015. And at this party, I think it was a total of 8 people were shot. 3 of those people died. My daughter was one. And, you know, it's been 5 years.
Right.
And there's still no arrest or no indication of who did this. Now, you know, she left behind, my grandson at the time was, I think, 16 months old. And then he's 6 years old now. But, you know, it's been real hard.
You have any idea who would have done this?
Same situation, you know, people talk, but telling me I'm not the person that you can tell. I wasn't at the party. And so basically, unless somebody from the party speaks up, I'm hoping that a lot of these people now are growing up and have families of their own now. And, you know, like the detective was saying earlier, sometimes maybe as they get older and they have kids and look at the situation, maybe someday somebody will tell who it was and what happened.
Get their, like I said, get their conscience, get the better of them.
Hopefully so. Hopefully so.
Hey, Buffy, when we first talked, we talked about this 6 years ago. It's been now about people coming forward. And you told me at the time, and I want to read back your quote to you because I found it very poignant. You said, "I blame the ones that choose to whisper about it, the ones that choose to sit across the table and eat dinner with this person." You still feel that way?
Very much so. I feel that way because it's the same people that look at me and smile and they say, "Hey, how are you? Oh, hi, Miss Buffy. Oh, hi." But then you turn around and you see that they're friends with the person that you know, the person that so many have told you is the one, but yet there's nothing that can be done legally.
Well, how do you convince someone to come forward then?
You just hope that their conscience eventually, that they grow a conscience. That's been my hope, that at some point I don't let her memory die. And that's what FOTS is for.
Right.
We keep the memories alive in our community. And my hope is that, like she said, that whoever was there that night has children of their own. And when they look at their children, they're reminded of my sister's children. Things like that. I just hope and pray.
Christina, there were, police at the time said, I think there were up to maybe 50 people who witnessed the shooting.
Right.
What do you think about the people who aren't coming forward, who are sitting on the information? Someone knows something.
I mean, I've said it over and over again, and over the past 5 years. Some of the people, a couple of them I knew. A lot of the people there I didn't know, but I don't even know how to tell you how I feel about the fact that you notice, and especially because some of the people involved, you know, supposedly you're my best friend, you my sister, and yet you won't say who it was. Nobody will.
Why? Scared?
That's what they say.
Yeah. The old, what is it, snitches get stitches, and you hear that again and again?
That too.
Okay, let's talk about FOTS. Buffy, why'd you start it?
I started FOTS because after my sister was murdered, it seemed like within 6 months, the stories had stopped. The phone calls had stopped from the detectives. The questions still remained unanswered. And it was like the community had forgotten all about it. But yet I still had two little boys there looking at me for answers, looking to the community for answers, and there were none. So I started FOTS because I wanted her to be remembered. And I knew that I couldn't be the only one feeling that way. So as it has grown, there is so much abundance of community support that is out there as opposed to the gun violence and the things that are being done in our community.
I mean, Families of the Stolen, that's a very powerful name. How'd you get that one, and what's the meaning behind it?
My sister was stolen from me. She was literally ripped from my life like a thief came in the night and took her. So that is why I came up with that name.
Christina, why'd you get involved with FOTS?
Because the same reason, I just, you know, losing a sibling, it's hard. Losing a child is just, you never recover from it. You don't, and it made it easier for me to have somebody to talk to that's going through the same thing that you're going through. It's feeling the same way you feel, because, you know, when, like you said, when the phone calls stop, and I mean, I understand the detectives, if nobody's talking to you, how can you do your job? So I can't, you know, I'm not a person that said, oh, it's their fault. It's not their fault, because they weren't at the party. But as you said, the 40 or 50 people that were at the party are the only ones that could do something, you know what I'm saying, to solve it. So at some point, I mean, they call you. My detective calls me at least once a year, and he's always like, Christine, I don't want you to think I forgot. I didn't. And I mean, he was just honest with me. He's like, you know, this is the reality. We pretty much know who it is, but unless somebody from this party will say it was him and him, or her and her, or however it went, there is nothing they can do.
So what do you do with FOTS? I mean, how does it help you?
Well, you know, we have the grief, you know, the grief thing that we do, where all of us is the support group. We're mostly mothers that have lost children, or people that have lost very close to gun violence. And, you know, you talk to each other, and you figure out how to get through it. And then I was like, you know, and then it's another step extra. Like she said, she had her nephews to raise. I have my grandson to raise. You know, in my case, my grandson, I not only lost my daughter, but another year later, he lost his father to gun violence. So now, you know, like she said, you left trying to get some kind of justice, because believe me, the kids ask. And once they know, and I mean, my grandson asks, and then you have to look at this child that feels like, oh, you know, somebody killed my mom. Somebody killed my dad, you know, and you can't tell me who or why, because they want to know. And you don't have an answer because you don't know.
Does your grandson remember his mom?
He does. He does. He does. And I mean, he does. He's doing real good, but from time to time, he'll, you know, it's like he'll get quiet and he'll be to himself, and he's like, I miss my mom. And I wish I had. He's like, you know, Mom, I'm glad I got you, but I wish I had my real mom.
Yeah, I understand. Buffy, and what does FOTS do? What does Families of the Stolen do? I mean, you guys have events throughout the year. You do planning. What?
What I do, I have what's called the FOTS Day of Laughter, and what I do is just try to bring the families together, bring our community together. I hand out backpacks, school supplies, free food. We raffle off lots of prizes, and we have games and stuff for the kids to play. The point of me doing the backpack giveaway was because the first year my sister was gone, she wasn't here to buy her kids school supplies. No. And that hit me really hard, because me and their other family, we had to pull together to have their school supplies, to make sure that they had everything they needed. So I also knew that there's other families that are going through that as well.
And you also have a Christmas tree?
Yes, we have our ornament social. It's an ornament social where we have families come, they make ornaments of their loved one that was stolen, and it gets displayed on a tree, which we call the Tree of Hope. We also have a support group, as she was saying, that we conduct mostly in the summer. We do the support group, and we try to do it around the holidays.
And you guys are also on Facebook, I know.
Yes.
So finally, then, briefly, if someone wanted to get in touch with you, what should they do? Go there?
Oh yeah, they can reach us on Facebook. They can inbox me on the page. I respond right back.
All right. Buffy, thanks very much. Christina, thanks very much.
you.
I truly hope, I hope there's closure. And sometimes it sounds cliche, but really, I know y'all need answers, and the community does too. Keep up the good fight.
Thank you.
You bet. Well, still ahead here on KETV News Watch 7's Chronicle, the Cold Case Squad makes an arrest in a decades-long murder investigation. We're going to sit down with the victim's daughter, who tells us she finally feels like she is getting some justice. First, a reminder, your comments, they're an important part of the show. If you want to be heard, email them to news@ketv.com. I read the emails. We love hearing from you, and we will be right back.